Rupak De is a senior technical analyst at LKP Securities, who's now joining us on the technicals. And from our research team, we're joined back by Ravinder and Kanishka. Hi Rupak, good afternoon to you. Thank you so much for taking the time out and joining us on the show. Rupak, let's start with the first stock that you've picked out for us. You picked out Dabur for us on the charts. Again, a counter that's doing very well in today's trading session. It's trading with gains of more than 3.5%. Tell us, what do you see on the charts for this one? This one's from the FMCG pack. Generally also for FMCG, do you see better days ahead?
Yeah, if we look at the FMCG chart on the weekly time frame, I find that after so many months, FMCG index has given on the verge of giving a significant breakout from its recent consolidation. And if it does sustain at the current level, FMCG index is likely to witness a significant rally. The space is likely to witness a significant rally. So Dabur has given a inverted head and shoulder pattern breakout on the weekly chart. So the chart looks very much positive to me, and if the stock moves beyond 550 decisively, then it is likely to move towards 640 in the medium term. So in the medium term, I'm bullish on Dabur, and if stop loss can be placed at 500 or below 500. Till the time stock is remaining above 500, there should not be any problem for the bulls. Buy on dip strategy can be applied, but I would suggest to go for a momentum play, buy above 550 and target for 640 in the short to medium term.
Okay, so that's Dabur India for you. The stock is up 3.5% today. But let's also put the spotlight on Asian Paints then. In fact, Nuvama met with the management of Asian Paints, and the management continues to remain very bullish when it comes to demand. They say they continue to maintain and work on their margin profile. They are targeting 18 to 20% EBITDA margins in the medium to long term. Demand is stabilizing, and they are expecting gradual recovery over the next few quarters. They say rural demand is strong, urban is showing steady signs of recovery. Competition, however, continues to sustain in the industry, especially after Grasim's entry. Raw material costs, meanwhile, are benign, and they are likely to remain benign for the rest of this calendar year. In fact, we have Nuvama, where they have maintained their buy stance after this management meet. They've given a target price of 2935 rupees per share. They say second half of this financial year is likely to be better than the first half, and GST cut in other categories will perhaps aid demand for the paint segment as well. So on the back of this note, we have Asian Paints, which continue to remain in focus. Although the stock is under pressure today, in fact given up most of those gains, and now is down nearly 1.5% as we speak.
Alright, that's Asian Paints in focus, but let's move on to the quick commerce space that is also in focus in the back of a note by CLSA. Now, the quick commerce is moving towards profitability as discounts are stabilizing. Blinkit is accelerating its store expansion, while Swiggy and Zepto are consolidating their positions. And profitability is expected to improve for all the players as Swiggy and Zepto reduce burn and the competitive pressure eases. All players are lifting their assortment. CLSA maintains a high conviction outperform rating on Eternal and an outperform rating on Swiggy. On the back of that, both Eternal and Swiggy are in focus.
Okay, both of these quick commerce companies in focus on the back of that, but Eternal in particular. Rupak, what do charts indicate for this counter?
Given a rounding bottom pattern breakout, and the stock looks very good for a upside towards 354, 355 in the short term. Above 355, the stock might continue moving towards 400 in the medium term. If you look at the daily chart, the stock it is like the stock is forming a consolidated downward consolidation, then it is giving breakout. So these things has been happening for quite some time, and this pattern is likely to continue in the short to medium term also. The stock has a very good support at 300. If the stock does not fall below 300, there is a good chance that the stock continue moving towards 355, then 400 in the short to medium term.
Okay, so that's Eternal for you, but let's also put the spotlight on Max Healthcare then. Ravinder, tell us, what is the news flow here?
Well, yes, Max Healthcare is in focus, where Kotak Securities has come out with a note, and they have maintained their reduced rating, and they have cut target price rupees 1125 as compared to earlier target price of rupees 1140. They say that owing to the going investment and seasonality, as well as the initial T10, EBITDA growth of Max acquired new units has been sluggish over the couple of quarters, And in addition, Max existing units reported modest 2-year sales EBITDA CAGR of 13%, 11% in Q1 FY26. They also highlighted that according to the latest disclosure, they noted a further delay in timelines, with the 750 bed addition is now being pushed to FY29 as compared to FY28, and with this situation is certainly not alarming yet against the backdrop of elevated occupancies in the existing units. A swift ramp up in the new units as well as the upcoming ones is critical for the steep valuation to be sustained. So back of this negative brokerage note from Kotak Security, Max Healthcare is in focus and the stock is down over 2%.
Alright, moving on from Max Health, which is in focus in the back of that news flow, but there's another counter that is in focus. Kanishka, Sept is what we picked out for us. Take us to what's the news flow here, why Sept in focus?
Absolutely. So Sept has announced the completion of its acquisition of Michelin Group's Camso construction compact line business. This includes Sri Lanka's Midigama plant and casting product plant in Kottagora as well. Now, with the acquisition, the company has integrated the Camso brand into its off-highway tires, that is the OHT strategy. Further, Sept has also announced a $171 million investment in Sri Lanka, securing about 1,500 jobs and strengthening the nation's role as a global OHT hub. Now, as per the company's exchange filing, this transaction also grants Sept global ownership of the Camso brand, which will be permanently assigned across categories after a 3-year licensing period. That's the word coming from the company. In fact, remember that Sept had earlier announced the acquisition of Camso brand's off-highway construction equipment biased tires, and also tracks business from Michelin for $225 million. So on the back of the latest acquisition that Sept has done, the stock is in focus today, trading more than 4.5% up today.
Okay, so that's Sept for you. The stock is up 4.5%, but let's also put the spotlight on big boy Reliance Industries. And this is on the back of a Morgan Stanley report where they are maintaining their overweight stance in the stock, but they have raised the target price to 1701 versus 1602 earlier. The stock, of course, is sitting with gains of nearly 0.9%. Now, Morgan Stanley says that the company will be the biggest beneficiary of China's anti-involution policies, which is focusing across its energy and solar supply chains. In fact, it also says that this also will mark the bottom of petrochemical cycle, and that will be a positive for Reliance Industries. Overall, involution will add about $20 billion in NAV and 17% to EPS for FY28 as far as Reliance Industries is concerned. So they are raising their target price to 1701, and the stock in focus on the back of this Morgan Stanley report.
Alright, I'll in focus on the back of brokerage notes, but Rupa, coming to you, Hindalco is the name that you picked out for us. Tell us what do you see in the chart for Hindalco?
So Hindalco, on the weekly chart, it has been moving within a rising channel, and also on the RSI front, you see that the RSI has come out from its falling channel. So in one hand, the price is witnessing an ascending pattern, and the RSI has given a breakout from the descending pattern. So the stock is looking very good for the medium term. On the higher end, the stock might move towards 800 kind of level in next 6 to 9 months. Then on the lower end, there is a support at 680. So one should hold the stock with a stop loss of 680. If the level of 680 does not get broken, then should be held for a target of 800.
Okay, so that's the word coming in on Hindalco. But on that note, we need to flip it to a very short break, but we'll discuss many more puzzles on the other side. So don't go anywhere.
Welcome back. You're tuning into Market Fatafat, where we're getting you all the top buzzers in trade today. Let's resume with all the stocks that are in focus today. The next counter that is in focus today is IGL. Now, IGL is in focus on the back of a brokerage note where IGL, I beg your pardon, on the back of the fact that it has signed a joint agreement with RVUNL to set up solar projects in Rajasthan. Under the agreement, the newly formed JV company will initially develop a 500 megawatts solar power plant, and the equity structure of the joint venture will be 74% held by IGL and 26% will be held by RVUNL. And on the back of the joint venture, IGL is in focus today. It is up in way more than 2.5% in trade.
Okay, so that's IGL for you, up 2.5%. But let's also put the spotlight on United Breweries. Rabinder, what is the news for you?
Well, as UBL is in focus, the company has announced the commenced production of its flagship brand Kingfisher at the recently leased brewery in East Godavari, Andhra Pradesh, and this marks a significant milestone as UBL strengthens its manufacturing footprint in Andhra Pradesh and equipped with the best-in-class infrastructure. This brewery has a monthly capacity of up to 4.5 lakh cases of beers, complementing the 12 lakh case capacity of Srikakulam brewery to meet the region's growing demand for high quality beer. So back of this, UBL is in focus and the stock is up 2%.
Alright, moving on from United Breweries to the next counter, BEL. Rupak, tell us what you see on the charts for BEL. Now these counters have already run up a lot. Do you see these counters, there's more momentum in them?
Darling defense stock. And the stock has not fallen below its 38.2% Fibonacci retracement level of its previous rally. Even though market has fallen so much, but the stock held above its crucial support, and I think 380, 378, 380 it has a very good resistance at, and if the stock moves beyond 380, the stock is likely to move towards its all-time high, and I think we are likely to see a significant rally. And on the lower end, 360 is likely to remain a support. Till the time it is remaining above 360, the bulls is not likely to have any problem.
Okay, so that's Bharat Electronics for you. The stock is sitting with gains of 0.7%. But let's also put the spotlight on UPL. Kanishka, what is the news here?
Right, so UPL is in focus after its UK-based arm, UPL Global, that has signed a deal to acquire 49% stake in Thailand's Grow Chemicals. Now, this investment will be completed by December of 2025. The Grow Chemical, that is engaged in agri-chemicals and plant nutrients, that clocked about $7.4 million in revenue in FY24. In fact, the partnership is going to boost innovation, expand product portfolio, and also strengthen sustainable agricultural solutions for Thai farmers. This marks UPL's push into the Southeast Asian territory. And that's the reason why UPL is in focus. However, it's not reacting very positively to that development, down about 2% as we speak.
Alright, moving on to the next counter which is in focus today is ABB. ABB, Rupak, you've picked out. Now there is a fundamental news flow also coming in, but for the charts, what do you see for the counter?
So from its all-time high, ABB has fallen by about 50%, and after falling so much, the stock is trying to move up higher, and there is a support from the positive divergence on the RSI front, and the stock is likely to go up higher. But for that the stock needs to move beyond 5200. Once the stock moves beyond 5200, then it is likely to move towards 6600 in the medium term. And on the lower end, the stock has a support at 4740. And till the time the stock is remaining above 4740, I don't think there should not be any problem. I don't think there should be any problem for the stock bulls.
Alright, so that's ABB India on the charts, but AB Capital is also in focus on the back of the fact that the board of Aditya Birla Capital has approved the appointment of Vishakha Muley as the Managing Director and CEO for the next 5 years, and additionally Rakesh Singh has been appointed as the Executive Director and CEO until July 22nd, 2027, subject to shareholder approval. So on the back of this management, new entrance in the management, AB Capital is in focus today, even though it's at the lowest point of the day right now, declining with the cuts of 1.7%.
Meanwhile, BPCL, Rupak, you've picked up this counter for us. The stock is barely doing anything in trade today, 315. Where do you see the stock headed from the current level?
Of 21 EMA. It has been failing for the last so many days. But on the RSI, daily RSI, I find that the stock has formed a positive divergence that might push the stock, that might push the momentum higher. And with that momentum, the stock might move towards the higher level. And once the stock moves beyond 320 on a decisive, on a sustained basis, then it is likely to move towards 340. So overall, I think it's a time when the stock might witness upward rally in the short to medium term.
Okay, so that's that for you. But let's also put the spotlight on Glenmark Pharma then. Kanishka, tell us what is the news here?
Right, so Glenmark Pharma is in the spotlight today after its US subsidiary announced readiness to launch eriobalin mesylate injection in the American market this September. Now, this cancer drug is a bioequivalent to Haloven injection, which clocked sales of nearly $66 million in the last 12 months. Now, it marks a milestone for Glenmark as it expands deeper into the oncology space in the US market, and that's the reason why the stock is in focus. However, not reacting all that positively, down about 0.3%.
All right, moving on from Glenmark Pharma to Auto, Bajaj Auto, that is in the fast lane since yesterday. It is now trading with gains of 1%. Bajaj Auto has done very well. In fact, the entire auto pack is in focus on the back of good auto dispatch numbers. The festive season is here. GST Council meet is also, in this week. Rupak, tell us, what do you see in the charts for Bajaj Auto?
So in time when Hero Motor and other two-wheelers made it to the top, but Bajaj Auto has been late. But it is always better late than never. The stock has given a consolidation breakout on the weekly chart, and it is sustaining its important moving average. The weekly RSI is in a positive crossover. So the stocks looks very good to move towards 12,000 in the short to medium term, and support is there at 8,500.
Okay, so that's Bajaj Auto for you, but let's also put the spotlight on the real estate sector on the back of data for Mumbai registrations, which has actually seen a decline. So Mumbai registrations have actually softened in the month of August, where number of housing units registered declined by about 3% YOY and about 11% on the month-on-month basis. On the back of this, Nuvama has come out with a report where they are saying that August registrations were the second highest ever by units, although they've declined on a month-on-month basis. But they believe that robust launch registrations, launch trajectory and mortgage rate cut, which is likely to happen over the next few months, is likely to be a positive for the entire real estate sector. And hence, they continue to remain bullish on Mumbai-based real estate players, the likes of Lodha, Oberoi, Godrej Properties, Sunteck and Keystone Realtors. So the entire sector in focus on the back of this news.
All right, so that was the last stock of the day. Thank you so much, Rupak, Kanishka and Rabinder, for joining us and taking us through all the top buzzers. But it is the